Hey, welcome to my channel. If you are aware, the Grizzlies did trade Bane to the Magic, um, which is only going to bolster the Magic now even better at this point. Like they increase themselves to a point where they're going to be a tough contender in the East now. They're definitely going to make the playoffs as they did last year or this season. They're definitely going to make it next season. It's probably going to be they're going to be a much tougher team basically at that point. Similar, let's not be surprised with Detroit making some upgrades as well too. Philadelphia, you're gonna have them beat back. You're gonna have Paul George and you're gonna have Maxey if they're all healthy, and they're gonna have like a top 10 pick. I forget what pick they have, but they can have a draft pick at this point, lottery pick. Um, it's going to be most likely Embiid's final year, and he's going to make a massive play to do whatever he can. Boston, it's hard to determine based on the fact that like Tatum being out. Yeah, Brown could keep him in. Brown and Porzingis probably could keep him there for a bit, but unless they make some trades, I don't know what they're going to get out of it. Maybe they get a Kevin Durant. It's possible Kevin Durant goes enjoys Boston, but the problem is it comes back to this season basically. I think this was the season for the Knicks. Once they got past Boston, if they had somehow made it into the finals, it might be a different story. But the fact is like this might have been the season for the Knicks. This might have been the year for the Knicks to have made the finals because next year I don't see anything happening because unless they drastically upgrade their bench as well as their let's forget the coach for now for a second, but unless they drastically upgrade the bench as well as get in another player, this is not a Knicks team that's going to go into the finals next year. They're probably going to be probably taken out in the first round. My best bet. I have a feeling they're going to be taken out in the first round. Why you say this? Because the fact is like Cat. We're seeing Cat's limitations now. He's gotten a little older. Brunson can do it, but he can't do it alone, all in the fourth quarter on his own. Basically, at that point, Hart did as much as he possibly could. Mikal Bridges, he's been a bust, and that was a fact that like the Knicks traded unprotected four unprotected first round draft picks as well as a fifth and another protected first round draft pick. But the fact is, you surrendered five first round draft picks for a guy that did absolutely nothing in the playoffs. Doesn't help you any. So the sad state is basically unless the Knicks can get someone like if they can get a Giannis in here, that'd be great. But the problem is who what do you surrender for him? If you surrender Mikal, then you've really basically goofed on that trade when trading for Mikal. So you can't trade him. He has to do something to be validating for those five draft picks, unless you can use him with maybe McBride to bring Giannis. But the problem is then you surrender your bench considerably at that point. That's the other factor is like two. You got to bring back Dante somehow. Dante has got to come back somehow. You got to bring him back because like he's been a fan favorite. Plus, he was part of that core that helped the Knicks get to where they were last year. So this year without him, yeah, without him they didn't get there. But I think he could have been that sixth option or seventh option for the Knicks at that point to help them out and get them out of that funk. Quite honestly, Mitch Robinson, good as he is, I mean, it didn't help any much as we needed. Basically, I mean, honestly, I hate to say this, but like Mikal Bridges, maybe a bench player because unless he proves he's an all star, again, I don't know what Rose was thinking, why he was going this route. I don't know. Or two, you get a KD. Problem is, if you get a KD, you're gonna have to surrender someone at that point as well too. So the problem is, unless you could get Giannis or KD in here to help you in that fourth quarter hump, it's not going to work out. I mean, yeah, you could say like, yeah, Cat. It was taking Cat Williams maybe a couple months to get used to being not the number one man, but at the same time, he's not your power driver that's going to get in there. Basically, honestly, if the Knicks if the Knicks can somehow get John Morant, because like with the Grizzlies trading Bane, it's either one they're looking to rebuild if they're looking to rebuild around Morant, okay. But the thing is, like, maybe they can trade Morant to the Knicks. Granted, it might be a big mistake, but let's be honest, Morant, based on his antics and such, and him being in the big city like New York, it's going to be a problem. But if the Knicks can get Morant, I wouldn't mind giving up Hart and Mikal Bridges for Morant, because John Morant and Brunson with Cat, I think brings them up to the next level at that point. Morant, let's not forget, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, for that matter, but 3 years ago, Morant was one of the two or three, top three at that point that everyone was looking as like, all right, he is going to be the face of the league. Him, Edwards, and SGA. We all saw that these three were going to be at that point the face of the league. Doncic could have been, but it all depends with Doncic. Doncic could still be that face at that point, quite honestly. But Morant was considered to be because he was an all around good play, all around player, all star player. Let's be honest, and like he was your tier 1A player, like with Brunson. But these two together, I think, could bring the Knicks up and elevate them into the next spot. But that's a question in and of itself. But again, I don't see that happening because the way the Knicks, the Knicks would have to surrender a lot of draft picks. They have no draft picks. They have no draft capital. So I don't know how they would get Morant. Multiple teams would have to be involved in that to get Morant. I mean, quite honestly, they would have to get a lot of teams involved, like two or three other teams involved, to get Morant, basically. Um, and the Knicks would have to be surrendering a lot at this point. But quite honestly, Memphis, if they're looking to trade Morant, that means they're rebuilding, so they want draft picks. They want some serious, um, I guess what you would say, prospects, most in this situation. But they want the draft picks. They would need those draft picks. But outside of that, I don't know what to say. Um, I don't know. Here's to see what happens. Here's to see what'll happen, basically. But I can tell you this much: I'm pretty sure the Knicks, they're not going to the finals next year. I don't think they're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Either one, they'll be either be taken out in the first round or most likely in the semifinals. But I have a feeling they're going to be taken out in the first round based on the fact that how Philadelphia is going to play out, how Detroit's going to probably improve if they play against the Pistons. The Knicks are not getting the first, number one or number two seed, basically. Let's be honest. They're not getting even the number three seed. Maybe at best the fifth seed. If they get the fifth seed, it's great. But the problem is like the Cavs are definitely going to upgrade as well, too. So the Knicks have a problem. They're not going to get out of the. They're not going to get into the Eastern Conference Finals, unfortunately. This is the case unless they make a dramatic change, and they have a great coach that can get them and elevate them to the next level. I don't know what coach can bring them up to that next level, but honestly, that's I don't know. You let me know your thoughts about it, basically with the Knicks in the comment section. I do read my comments and I do respond to them all when they warrant a response. But with that, I'll leave it at that. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like my content, please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, I thank you for those who have. Outside of that, unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.